beautiful people. Y'all, when I say I am so grateful, like I have to tell y'all why. Like why y'all need to get your tail in the stock market and start producing your own income, okay? I'm gonna just tell you what it did for me. And I gotta tell you what happened yesterday. But anyways, if you're new here, my name is Paris Smith. I was able to retire myself from the 9-to-5 at 24 years old. I fired my boss. I had to go. And I was able to do that through trading in the stock market. Now, this strategy that I trade is quite unique. I only trade once a week. It takes me maybe a minute to trade. The income that I make is consistent. It is reliable. It is a reliable income, unlike day trading where you got to cross your fingers in hopes that you make you some money, in hopes that you're right. This not that. I don't even use charts. I don't even use no indicators. I don't day trade. So when I say it's unique, it's unique. So I sleep good at night. I know my bills getting paid through this stock trading strategy. And so if you want to learn more about what it is that I trade, how I fired my boss at 24 years old, literally step by step on how I did it, I am having a free stock trading masterclass. The link is in the description where you will find the date and the time, and go ahead and register and I'll see you there. Anyways, so y'all listen, let me tell y'all why you need to get your tail in the stock market, okay? So let me just back up, okay? Y'all know your girl has juvenile type 1 diabetes, okay? I have an insulin pump. That's my insulin pump. That's my CGM. I have an insulin pump literally pumping through my veins 24/7 to survive, okay? I don't have a pancreas. That's juvenile type 1 diabetes. You rely on an insulin pump. So some of y'all know my story, how working in the 9-to-5 corporate world was HE double hockey sticks. Why? Because it's not built for people like us. People with chronic diseases, you know, people that struggle, you know, with like maybe a child has some sort of disability, or maybe their parent and they're caring for a loved one. Like, the 9-to-5 is not for us. They try to make it FMLA, make it flexible. They try, but let me just say this. I struggle because you gotta make it 12 months to qualify for FMLA. You cannot be a part-time employee. You have to be a full-time employee. So half the time you don't even make it to the 12-month mark before they let your tail go. So in my world, I faced a lot of terminations, and a lot of threats. You know, if you don't do this, then your job is in jeopardy, kind of thing. But it was all revolved around my health and my chronic disease. And oh, excuse me. And so I got sick and tired. I said, I ain't about to keep doing this. And I decided that I gotta make my income some other way. But it can't be working. Like, when I say I love working so much, like my friends would tell you, my family would tell you, I can work, okay? When I was working the 9-to-5, nobody knew how sick I was because I would smile. Nobody knew that I was so freaking sick. I did not feel good at all. Like, I felt so... When I say my health was so bad, I don't think y'all understand how... If y'all know diabetes, type 1 diabetes, y'all know this disease is already challenging. Just think about, you know... let me just think. Okay, so let's just say like high blood sugar, low blood sugar. Working, you know, having those low blood sugars, and you about to have a daggone seizure if you don't get your blood sugar up. You know, stuff like that. You have all the symptoms, right? High blood sugar, the pains that you have in your head, like the cloudiness. You just don't feel good. You just feel so sluggish, no energy. You just feel sick. And so those were the things I was going through. Now I have an insulin pump. Back when I was working, I had the insulin pump that had a long tubing, and that thing would get pulled out, snatched out all the time, and I would have to, have my medical supplies with me at work. But sometimes I couldn't take everything to work, like my insulin. And so I would have to go home and take care of my health, take care of myself. So those were just some of the struggles. But anyways, I said, no, I can't do this no more. So I decided the stock market, from what I heard back in the day, you can make real good money. Like, you can make an income from it, all the things. I said, let me jump into it. Like, let me just start diving all the way into it. But I will say my mom came up to me with the strategy and was like, baby girl, I want you to go ahead and study this. And when you study it, it's going to be a game changer. She was like, it's going to get us out. Then I want you to teach me. However, I did not teach her. I just trade for her. Yeah, my mom is very spoiled. Anyway, fast forward. I put together this plan, a 3-year plan. I said, I got to get the heck up out of here. And so the type of strategy that I trade, you can map out your income. You can map out your reinvestments, your reinvesting. You know how many contracts you'll be at in, let's say, 6 months, a year, 2 years, 3 years. So I said, all right, in order for me to replace my 9-to-5 income, it's going to take me 3 years. Why? Because I was broke. Paycheck to paycheck. This trading strategy, it requires you a little money, okay? It requires you a little money. This is not day trading, but when you get that money in that account, you're going to be very happy you did, because you can live off of the income. And so, and it's like a lower risk type of trade, but a higher investment. So people, it's not all over the internet, because it's not sexy. It's not quick money where you could throw $200 and make $1 million. You know what I mean? You may have to throw in $5,000, $10,000. I started with $5,500 and I was making $1,000 every single month consistently. So it's going to require you a little money, but I was willing to sacrifice. So I picked me up a third job. I already had 2 jobs. I had to pick me up a third one, put it in my trading account. And you probably like, girl, like, you already sick. Correct. But when I say I was grinding, I was working, I had a vision, I had a plan. I wrote that plan out. Y'all know the Bible would say, write it down and make it plain. I wrote it down, okay? The whole plan down. And so, my students, if you're watching this video, I want y'all to buckle down. When I come back and do my coaching session, we're going to talk about that. How to put together what I like to call Freedom Day plan. We're going to dive a little deeper into the Freedom Day plan. That's what we're going to do. And I'm going to write it down, because I need to write that down. But anyways, so yeah, I had the whole blueprint. Started trading. Took me a while, but I started trading, and oh my God, it was February 2020. I made my first trade, $5,000. It was AMD, made $250 a week, $1,000 a month. I said, oh my God. The plan was planning, okay? Fast forward, left my 9-to-5, cool. Now, let me tell you why I'm so grateful. So, when I was working my 9-to-5, your girl I told you, I was so sick. My health was at its worst. Like, it was at its worst. I was hospitalized over the smallest thing. I literally had a toothache. A toothache landed me in the hospital because it was like a shock to my body, and my blood sugars couldn't come down. So I had diabetic ketoacidosis. And if you know anything about ketoacidosis, you go in that hospital and tell them you in DKA, oh baby, you ain't getting up from that hospital bed. Like, they gonna go ahead and admit you right now. Like, there is no waiting. That's what happened. So I'm up here with a toothache and freaking DKA because I can't get my body was just all out of whack. It was just bad. So anyway, I'm dealing with that and stuff. Now, fast forward, I have been trading. Let's see, I started February 2020. It's been 6 years. It is, what's today? April? What is it? We're in April. So, April 2026. So, it's been 6 years. And so, yesterday, I go to my endocrinologist because, you know, back in the day, I used to go every 3 months. And that's why my job couldn't stand that I was taking off so much. And I don't just go to the endocrinologist, I go into LabCorp. I also go and get my eye exam and get my eyes dilated, and they take pictures of it. And I gotta send that to my doctor. Like, it's not just one appointment, it's multiple. And I used to go every 3 months. Now I go every 6 months because your girl is good. Like, when I say my health is beautiful, my health is beautiful. So yesterday, I go to the endocrinologist. And normally I'm like really nervous because my doctor, she's a sweetheart. She's a sweetheart, but she don't play. She don't play. Okay. And so I go and, you know, I'm waiting for her to come in the room. And I'm all anxious. I'm sweating. I'm a little shaky. You know, that's how I get when I'm nervous. I got white coat syndrome real bad. And so she just busts in the door. She's like Paris with these papers in her hand. The papers in her hand were basically, let me see if I can find it on my phone. Basically, it's an app called Clarity app. And it tells you your blood sugars over like the course of 3 months. If it come up, I'll show you, but it's loading right now. I don't know if I only have 2 bars. But anyway. So it tells you like everything. All of the trends, different graphs, everything you need to know is on that piece of paper. And so she comes over and she busts in the room with all these papers. She's like, Paris. She's like, there's nothing to talk about today. She was like, everything is perfect. And I'm looking at her like, now, doctor. I said, I feel like my blood sugars are all over the place. What do you mean everything's perfect? And she shows me all the graphs, everything. She was like, then the percentages are supposed to be 70% in range, which my blood sugar is. She's like, you're at a 90% in range, which is unheard of with type 1 diabetes. You don't hear that. You don't hear that. And I was just like, wow, like that's crazy, right? Told me my A1C, told me like all these other percentages and how my percentages is way higher than the percentage and do. And she was like, there's nothing to talk about today. Everything, all of the settings in your pump, she was like, keep it as is. Basically, if it's not broke, don't fix it. And she ain't never, ever said that to me. Ever. Now, I will say, over the course of maybe, I would say like 4 years maybe. I would say like 4 years, things have been like really great with my health. Like, there's no, Paris, you need to do, no, because I take good care of myself now. But when I first was like, you know, when I first let my boss go and fired that man, I was like, all right, it's time to buckle down. The first thing I want to do is get my health back. That was number one. Get my health back. And so, I know y'all probably like, well, what does this have to do with trading? It has a lot to do with trading. To have the time freedom, the flexibility to do what I want and take good care of my health, that matters. The fact that I can cook and meal prep my meals, I can work out as long as I like. I don't have to pick a time every day and work out at the same time. No, if I don't feel like working out in the morning, I can work out noon. I can work out at night. I can work out 12 o'clock in the morning if I want. And I do sometimes. Like, it's not that anymore. I can cook my meals be intentional with what I'm putting in my body. Now, although type 1 diabetes is not diet related, it has nothing to do with diet. It has everything to do with genes, genetics, and all of those things. Like my grandfather had type 1, my dad had type 1, now I got it. Okay, boom, boom, boom. That's how it goes. But diet makes things better. And so exercise also makes things better. Like your blood sugar is more, stable. And so if I don't feel good, because sometimes I don't feel good, like if I catch a cold or something, or it could be, that time of the month, it's all hormone based. So, you know what I mean? Throw me out of whack a little bit. I need to lay my head down, get myself together, that sort of thing. I can take my time. So time freedom. Then you have the other side of things. This chronic disease isn't cheap. First of all, I don't know why my insurance about $500. I don't know what happened. And then you got to pay the insulin, the co-pays. You got to pay for the insulin pump and the supplies with it. Then you got to pay for the CGM. And it is not cheap. Very expensive. Then, of course, you want to eat healthy. You go organic and all of that stuff. Right now, I'm on this little food prep type of company. And when I say that food bomb, it's called Factor. I'll put my little link in the chat. My little referral link. If you want to try it, 50% off your first box. But I'm doing Factor right now. And it's $140 a week. My stock's paying for that. Time freedom, financial freedom. And that's what I mean by stock trading has everything to do with it. So, I just want to come on here and tell y'all about the biggest blessing that I received yesterday. Like, I'm always hard on myself thinking, oh my God, I could always do better. But data tells you everything you need to know. And the fact that my doctor came in there so happy and bubbly and excited, and she was like, there's nothing to talk about today. You need a prescription? Okay. And I'm like, break that down for me, doc. The fact that she said that, I'm like, yo. I had flashbacks. Like, I would have never thought that this would be my life. Like, I feel so good. I feel so healthy. I keep saying that I'm healed. Y'all, I'm healed. I feel great. So healthy. And stock trading has everything to do with it. And the Lord. Okay, the Lord too. Listen, because I pray. Okay, I fast. Okay, I rebuke every bit of that daggone chronic disease that's generational. It got to go. It ends with me. In the mighty name of Jesus. Anyway, this video getting a little too long. It's getting a little too long for me. But I'm so happy, man. When I left that doctor office, I called all my people. My mom was the first person I called, and she was like, wow. And I was calling all my people with so much excitement. Like, yeah, could you believe it? Like, y'all remember? I know y'all remember. They was sick of me going to that hospital. I used to go so much that they stopped staying with me. They dropped my tail off and just left. And I was just there by myself. And I was so terrified of needles. I told you I got white coat syndrome. So terrified of needles. They left my tail. I needed support then. They left my tail. But anyways, if you're interested in learning more about this stock trading strategy, and you want just a little peace of mind, because that's what this gives you, just a little peace of mind, especially when you learn the strategy and start applying it. I need to see you at my free masterclass coming up. Everything you need to know is in the description, the date, the time, the link to register, all that good stuff. Like, it's free. What do you have to lose? with that being said, I hope this video was good to you. It was good to me. It was good to me. I'm Paris, that wealth chick.